basically what we're going to do is we're each going to pick a person and you are going to vouch for that person and their idea. And then we're going to talk about the pros and cons for each one. And then at the very end, we're going to really, if we pick someone's idea, but what we think as a group would be the best way to do this compensation. So we're going to open up. Did everyone get the little, the thing that I posted on the community about you and I assigned you to each person?
Yeah.
So
Yep, I'm Miles.
You're Miles, Connor?
Yeah,
I have.
didn't see it. Hold on.
No, you're fine. Whitney, I said.
It's okay. I didn't see it
We
either.
talk about Ruth. So Ruth Gibson. So if you want to pull up her views on the, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to kind of look at what they said. So Sid is Adam.
Yep.
Okay, and Ruth is Whitney. Miles is Connor. Gus, was that you, Sybil?
Yeah.
And then Alex, if you want to look up Bill Purcell, I think is his name. Purcell. Yeah, so just look at what they said and give you a couple minutes. Just look at what they said about the case and what they would do. And then we're going to talk about each one. Yes. And I am playing the role of Gilbert. And so you have to try and convince me that you have the right plan. Because I'm the vice president of compensation.
Ruth is.
So,
I'll get ready to convince.
oh, really? Okay. This case was kind of all over the place. I'm Gilbert. You guys have to get into character.
Yeah, that's not going to work out, Maddie. Okay.
Adam cleared his throat. He's ready.
I'm too tired to get into character.
Are we all good to start?
Not quite. I'm almost. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're
My
fine.
My kids are on summer break, and it threw me for a loop, and so I'm trying to brush up on
brush up on all.
I'm sorry. Great improviser. I will make work. Sammy, go away. I love you. Oh. Okay.
It's gonna be like the other case that we did.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I think Whitney and I went toe to toe on that one.
I'm improvising going toe to toe with somebody.
Yeah, you're toe to toe with Adam. So basically, whatever Adam says, just go against it.
So I'm on behalf of the employees, right? I'm the team representative. That's what it says?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a team representative, yeah.
You're a chemical mixer.
Ooh.
All right. This will be interesting. Let's have at it.
All right. So according to my discussion leader assignment, I'm to open this up like a real meeting. Welcome to the Top Campaign Committee meeting. As you know, Sam Verde has asked me to lead this committee. Ivy Gilbert Porterfield, is that his name? Although I worked hard, I worked extremely hard, guys, on this initial pay plan. I realized that no plan will be successful without the support from the employees. So I want your input so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. Welcome. So let's start off with Sid. Noble.
Yeah, I think this idea is ridiculous. I work with a lot of scientists who are very self-driven, self-motivated individuals who have great ideas on their own, and putting them into a team environment is going to hinder their ability to get their work done because their success is based on other individuals. And I don't think it's right that they should be paid based on the success of the team as a whole, but based on their individual contribution.
But don't they say that, you know, 2 minds are better than 1? Come on, Sid. Work as a team. Isn't that my job? I'm just supposed to antagonize Adam.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah.
now, Ruth, you tell me why you think your plan is good. And then once everyone has done their little pitch, then we're going to go through the pros and cons with each one. Okay. So that was Sid's pitch. Now, Ruth, give me a pitch. Why do you think your plan is good? Or
I think working as a team is much better. I think that being a team member, we can all bounce ideas off of each other. I feel like interdepartmental relationships will feed company growth as a whole. There's a reason why working together helps feed ideas in other departments. Somebody from my department could help find a solution for somebody in Adam's department. I feel like if we work together as a team, that could benefit everybody in the long run. And I feel like, you know, having a core compensation structure will benefit everybody as a whole.
perfect. Thank you, Ruth. All right. Now, Miles, give us your pitch.
Okay. Well, so the compensation that was proposed is to have have it more based on performance. And I agree with that aspect from an upper management perspective, because at the from the employees, and it's been a fixed pay. And so if the company's taken a hit where the prices have gone up, where sales have gone down, their pay hasn't varied at all. And I think that it could be something that would motivate employees to work harder to find ways to reduce costs. Because upper management, their pay varies up to 60% depending on how well the company does. So I think that aspect of the compensation plan could be more motivating to the employees.
Thank you, Miles. I liked how you put a percentage there. I like numbers. Sure. Okay. All right. Gus.
All right, so I am the corporate head of training. Cleared loudy throat, you know? Okay, so I agree with part of it with Miles about the pay to performance for the company. And what I'm getting towards it, I mean, I'm thinking head of training, that the benefit of tying a large group's performance together, I think it will encourage everyone to excel. So it's not just one person. I think Whitney was saying it isn't in 2 minds or better than 1, right? So having a team together, it will encourage everybody to excel. Productive teams have members who tell each other what to do or what works and what doesn't work, and I think that's part of the team. And they teach others how to work in better. The other part that I would propose is that maybe somebody from Miles's team, or I'm sorry, Ruth's team, would take somebody out and then maybe explain to them what they do and vice versa. And that might be a training invite too.
Okay.
I guess I'm more training oriented than anything. I just want the team to work together.
Mm-hmm. I really like that, actually. Personally. All right. Now, Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill.
Hello.
Okay, so the way I see this is I'm totally fine if whatever plan you guys want to do goes. But I feel like we're attacking this in the wrong way. We're looking at things as more of people as being teams, but I think we should be looking at team players instead. I think our workforce is probably a lot bigger than it needs to be, and cutting it down by 15% we'd be able to see kind of who the team players actually are, and I feel like that way it would bring the company together better. So.
That was well put. Thank you, Bill. Let me spell compensation right. Okay, so now that everyone's kind of given their pitches, now let's go back, and you guys gave me the pros. Basically, when you guys gave the pitches, you gave the pros. So let's think about some cons or some benefits to each idea. So if we want to go through the case, let's look at Sid's first. He is more about self-driven individuals. You do your work because you want to improve yourself and your capabilities, your strengths, whatever. So what are some benefits to that?
Well, I'd say work gets done. They're all work oriented, you know what I'm saying? So either maybe even, I think the work gets done faster because they are concentrating more on work than anything else.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Because if we're all waiting on one person to get their work done, then
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot more stress, or you're asking them to get it done. What are some cons, or what is bad about this idea?
I think one thing is you miss out on potential ideas because you're not interacting with other people. Getting a different perspective can help with that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. You don't know what's going on in the other teams because your head is so into work that you don't know what's going on with Bruce's team and Gus's team, and so you miss out on everything, just like Adam had said.
And I can think of an example. So you guys know those companies that give their employees like 24 hours to, they don't have to worry about their daily responsibilities, but they can team up with other employees and just create whatever they want.
Oh
Yeah, I heard that.
So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So something very similar that where if they never have that day, they never have those solutions or those new ideas created. And so by limiting, the scientists to just working as, on creating, new products from a science perspective, they don't really get to see the effects that they have on their customers because all they know is, the science terminology. They don't know the actual benefits from a customer perspective.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome. Thanks for bringing that up, Connor. I've watched, didn't we have to watch a video for that in this class? I remember watching a video about a company who does that. And that's what the employees live for. They're like, as soon as the one project or their one day is up, they're already thinking about what they're going to do the next time. And they do
That's
it like
cool.
every quarter or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
it's like
that.
quarterly.
So that's awesome. That's a good point. Let's move on to Ruth. So Ruth is thinking that teams are better, the more minds, the better, that you bounce off from each other's ideas, and that if the company is, if the company's failing as a whole, it's because everyone isn't putting their work in together. So we need to work together to build up the company. What are some other benefits?
Yes, because we have the people that are inventing the stuff, but they actually have to translate into the people building it. And like I said in the case, mixing the chemicals, we have to work together. They can't just invent it and then drop the ball and move on to something else. It has to be seen to completion
Mm-hmm.
to actually.
We can't just work on one thing at a time. We have to do it all together.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
How that translates into compensation, there's a lot of different avenues, but yeah, I guess I don't know.
So what are some
I
cons
think
to that?
the
Some
cons
cons.
is that your comment, you could be held up by somebody else.
Mhm.
The inventor. Here's my invention. Make it happen. Your job is done. But the fact of the matter is that nothing, what like we read in that first part, is nothing's done until you have something to sell, and it actually sells, right? And so that's the whole point. So the cons is, yeah, you might be held up by one layer or another, but in the end, it ultimately doesn't matter, because nobody's making any money until it actually, you have an output. Something that you could do instead is measure, I guess, the input and output of every department. And so that department works as a team instead of the company as a whole. Measure their performance and do a compensation targeted on that individual department's performance. That might work. I don't know.
Perfect. I'm writing down these ideas that we have. So measure the input and output of each individual or the division
The division.
of each division.
Because if more than one individual has to work together, I'm so sorry, guys. 1 second.
She's gonna harass her kids.
It's totally fine.
It's been 2 days of summer, and I'm ready for them to go back.
Oh man, this is gonna be a long summer for Whitney.
Right? The rest of this semester, these meetings will get very interesting. Let's just say.
Well, you could send them to Rexburg because it's raining here. They'd have-
Hey, anybody want to adopt them for a couple weeks? Out. Parenting 101. I'll give you a test run on it.
I've done it. We're done. I love you. But no,
But yeah, so you could do it on a division basis for the divisions that have to work together, that like the process requires more than one person. They could measure the on a division basis, and then based on that division's performance, offer the additional compensation. And then, you know, on situations where it could be an individual basis, separate it out. It doesn't have to be, you know, one solid thing for the entire company. But the whole framework could work. We have the base salary and then the additional bonus, the performance bonus.
Okay.
I think that could work for the entire company as a whole. Here's your base salary, here's the performance, and then, but then per division separated out.
Okay. So that brings us to Miles' suggestion. Miles thinks that the pay should be based on performance. Completely? Is that right, Miles? Like, if you do a good job, you get paid well. If you don't do a good job, you don't get paid well. Is that what it is?
Not directly. I think it just should be, that aspect of the compensation plan should be increased dramatically. So, like, if referring to like a sales job, it's not all commission. You know, it's a small salary plus some commission, where, you know, they have the compensation that they get, like benefits, bonuses could be based on performance, something like that.
Okay. So what are some cons to this idea? Anyone can say.
Well, the fluctuation of the market can affect, you know, your quarterly pay. So like if you're on a tight budget with your income and your living expenses, and, you know, your pay's cut, you know, a couple thousand that quarter, you know, there's a lot of nerves that could be wrapped while working for them.
Especially if we presented this idea immediately, then probably every single employee would be on board.
Yeah.
They'd try their best, and then we'd have to find a good way to rate what is good performance.
That's true.
If you think that everyone's doing better than what they were, then they'd expect a really high raise, and we don't have the money for that.
Right.
So,
And
oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know, like you said, you'd have to come up with a system of telling like what an improvement actually meant. So would you do that by each division, or would you have to come up with some overall thing? Would that get too messy using this kind of a plan?
It could get messy, but I feel like it should be by division because obviously
Okay. Yeah.
it'd be harder to think of an invention rather than it is to pour chemicals. Just
Hey, I take offense.
Right.
no offense, Ruth. But you know, so like there's got to be a good
Yeah.
what's the rate I'm looking for? It's like a profitability, not profitability rate, but improvement.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put that down under the solutions and we'll talk about it later.
Cool.
So let's talk about Gus. So Gus also thinks that we should be paid by performance, but more along with teams. Is that the idea?
Yeah, he rather have a team make the overall. Where the heck did it go? Hold on. Here he goes. So I have the team. So by performance, but for different reasons. The benefit of trying a large group performance to the pay of its members is that it encourages everybody to excel. So basically, I feel that if they work in a team, there's nobody left behind. That's how I feel, right? If he puts them in there, everyone is, well, in this case, is encouraged to perform. Actually, essentially, going to college needs to perform, or they're gonna have that nerve-wracking outcome where they're gonna be short at a couple of thousand because of market or something. So his thing is encourages anyone to excel.
So the individual works really hard, but based on the performance of the division is how they get paid. That's
Yes.
how it is? Okay.
Yes. And he wants to implement also that people, well, that will be the division. Yeah, you're right. So that people from other departments come together, but if one division has Ruth, Miles, and Gus department, then that will be the division. Yes.
Okay. So what are some cons to this idea?
I think one con is if there is like contention within the team, performance could go down if they don't see eye to eye on something, and then that could influence their pay, which could further just decrease performance.
Yeah. One slacker will bring everything down.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like contention between divisions.
Yep.
They like each other in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
Like you're going down.
Absolutely.
Days.
Mm.
Yeah, I can definitely see some contention there. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
I mean,
I think
one of the
he's
cons
bringing-
that
Go ahead.
one of the cons that I think was mentioned in the article, but when do they base the performance or the improvement on? Because one of them talked about how over the last 5 years they've improved a lot, and it's going to be really hard for them to improve their production rate because they've already cut it by so much. And so by then to have their compensation or their pay based on how they improve, like, well, we're not going to be able to improve that much at all because we're already doing pretty good.
Yeah, because each division is different. So we need a way to base performance in this division. And is that fair? Many employees could argue that it's not fair. Be like, oh, that's easy for them. Why do you give them a raise just because they did something easy? But,
They haven't improved for the last 5 years, and we have, but now they decide to improve because
yeah.
they get paid for it.
Right.
But that's just the con to like every kind of idea that like for all these different plans. But except for maybe Sid's, because Sid doesn't want it to be performance based.
That is true. Okay, so now we're going to go to Bill. Now, Bill is on board with anything, really. But I like what Bill says that we need to worry about getting the right team together. Not necessarily the compensation, but we should get the right people. Now, what are some pros or what are some benefits to that? Obviously, you're going to get the people who want to do the work.
Right,
there.
right.
And maybe they have a particular skill set as well that complements the
That's
other
true.
team members.
Those people won't argue with the plan because they're staying because they like it.
Mhm. Regardless of the pay. They're not in there to get the pay raise, but they like the work.
Yeah.
What did you say, Adam? Sorry. I'm gonna write it down.
They might have complementary skill sets
Yeah.
with the other team members.
Right. I was gonna say that like they could develop that sense of like team memberness and just inspire each other and be able to just go that much further because they weren't just sort of put together, but I mean, what if the people made their own teams? You know, they're saying the people should have say in their compensation. So what about say in who they work with? But
That's cool. I like that. So what are some cons to this idea?
Are they paid based off of the team's performance still?
Well,
I don't know. It depends on what we think, I guess. I guess the con is that this would take time.
Yeah, getting the right
Yeah.
people on board.
And
The con is that you'd have to fire or fire several.
yeah.
there you go. Yeah,
Lots of people.
some people need to be let go, and then they can implement the pay plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have to pay severance for all the people that they fire.
Which is that is a good solution rather, like getting rid of people and then
Yeah.
implementing the plan rather
Yeah.
than implementing the plan and then be like, sorry,
Yeah.
not anymore. So yeah, if we
Yeah.
definitely go with Bill's idea, we should clean up first and then execute the plan. Let me see what else.
I don't think any of these ideas are correct. We should do the IBC compensation plan.
The IBC?
And that's what I was gonna ask. Why
Yeah.
can't we implement that solution?
What is the solution? Sorry.
An IBC, so you have marketing, productions, and finance, and the CEO, and as a entire company, so you have to take representatives from a larger company, but from an IBC company, you give a grade, like, okay, out of the 95 points that we got on our review, you then allocate a certain amount of points to different groups, and then that's leader of that group then disperses the compensation to individuals within that group.
I like that. I didn't even think about that, but definitely when I did IBC, that was good. But the thing was, we need to make something clear when we start, because what happened with my IBC group is that our sales were really down that first rotation. So we thought it was finance's fault because we were spending way too much money and we weren't getting anything. Our revenues were down. So we're thinking revenues, finance. But then we learned something later on that was like, well, actually, it's
Marketing all in
fault
charge of sales.
that we're not getting sales. So the next time when we did this, our sales were still down and we're like, okay, well, now it's going to be marketing's fault. But then there was like confusion because they're like, wait a minute, we based it off of finance last time. And I hurt because I was on the finance team last time. Now I'm on the marketing team and I'm going to get butchered for being on the marketing
Carry
team as
over.
well. So there definitely has to be communication that we're not constantly changing the plan, but that what is considered improvement or what is considered the loss or whose fault it is.
You have the plan in place ahead of time,
Yeah.
and then you just carry out the plan when it happens.
So yeah, let's brainstorm some other solutions. What do you think? What do you think we should do? I have a list of a few solutions here. The IBC idea. We talked about have each group, like what Connor said at the beginning, have that little activity throughout the year for
Like every quarter or every.
like every quarter something, have the individuals work on something that they may not be a part of, but they want to try and they
Right.
have 4 hours to do it, whatever.
I think from a compensation standpoint, one solution would be have your base pay that everybody gets that's not team based, but maybe your bonus at the end of the year is based off of how it performs. I don't know. That's
So have a base salary, but at the end of the year,
your
Bonuses are based on performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the simplest solution, isn't it?
it's definitely easy. You can get into a lot of
Yeah.
mix-ups and
But is it bringing in the culture that they've changed throughout the company? Like that's one thing that they want to change their compensation plan to match their new style of work in the company. But is that the plan that's going to do that as well?
Right. So we got to think about that.
Mm. Yeah, what do they want? Now I'm gonna go back to the case. What is their overall, what kind of employee or atmosphere do they want? Let's talk about that.
Like within that paper, I think it's totally different. Like everyone wants something different.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sid, he wants just work. He doesn't care, honestly, about teamwork or anything. Just work, put the product out there, right? Gus is the one who wants to do the teamwork and even include maybe, interacting outside of the company with some people. I mean, that's how I feel. Where's Bill? Bill basically tells the Gus to be real. Okay, so that's how I see it. Let's see. Okay, so Bill is like, he's thinking about clean it up first and then implement things. But you got to clean up first, right? And then,
I like that idea.
I do too.
right. I mean, which I agree too. But I think in this company or in this thing, everyone is different. Nobody wants to go towards one to the other.
Now, is the reason why we're having this meeting because there's no motivation from the employees? Is that why we're here? Or why are we here having this meeting?
Because
I don't know.
Um,
Mine seems
So
weekends. That seems like
the reason
a lot of motivation to me.
the reason they're having this meeting is the first paragraph says 3 years ago when we launched our Quality for All program at Top Chem, we expected a great deal of resistance. People don't like their jobs being questioned, let alone redesigned. But now they're listening. We're starting to make real changes in the way people work together. And we're making progress in speeding products to market, improving product quality, and routing out inefficiencies. So they want their compensation plan to match the new
So basically,
view or
what
the
yeah, because
new
company
idea of the
has
company.
a higher standard for quality products. So now we want to come up with a compensation plan that will increase the quality of the work.
Yeah.
Do we think?
And maybe help them work more in teams even more.
So what do you guys think? Do you think money is the best way to do that? Giving people money will equal more quality?
I don't think that's necessarily the gonna
No.
solve the problem.
Based off last week, we learned that that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
maybe
feeling
it's
like
part of the
adding
solution.
value is important.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I think feeling like you're contributing and adding value to the company is really important. Like you want to come to work because you know that you're actually accomplishing something.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sybil?
I think it's part of it, but I think the majority part of it has to be. I think it has to be team. You're not going to get anything accomplished if nobody's on the same page.
Yeah. So maybe a solution to this or a way to get started is maybe you should have like some sort of conference or like a fun gathering for everyone in the employees, like maybe towards the end of the year that kind of highlights what they've done that year. And like, hey, this is where we were and this is where we came and this is, this is how far we've done. So they can actually see the progress that they're doing. I think if people actually see what they're doing, then like they'll be more motivated to come to work, be like, wow, we're doing a good job. maybe this kind of meeting should happen quarterly or frequently so that you can actually see differences rather than waiting towards the end of the year. But definitely, I think if the employees could see the work that they're doing, it would help them improve the quality. An idea. What else?
So just show work recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could. I like the idea of letting everybody know the end goal, a
Yeah.
common thing to work towards, instead of all the secrets and we just need to cut our bottom line so work faster or whatever. And so I think if they can, here's what we're trying to get to and here's why, let everybody know, and then you can celebrate, all right, this department achieved their goal or improved by this percentage, and kind of gave everybody a reason to work hard, and then surprise them with a bonus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be a good motivator. I could be wrong.
Is that your mom, Alex?
No, I like that idea.
Has done the work. I like that idea as well. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Brainstorm ideas. Now, okay. Return to your own identities. Well, we kind of already did that. You guys can drop, who you are. And
Sorry, me and Ruth did not meld very well.
ideas that you think would be good.
Isn't it funny that it's written like that? You can return back to your own identity.
The what?
Do we do that or no? Like,
Do we do that?
did we do that or are we still
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
Kind of. So now everyone drop who you were. You're not Bill anymore. You're not Sid. You're not Ruth. Like, think of generally, what do you think is a good idea to solve this problem? We need to finish this discussion with an idea of what we're going to do, what we're going to pay. Yes.
I like the idea of a base salary with bonuses, like a percentage of your compensation is a base salary, and then a percentage of it is based on performance. But that performance is divisional, not, it's either personal or divisional depending on your position.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Because you can change the percentage of the salary. Like if they were doing a really good job, or if they were like a manager or something, then they get more of a percentage based on their performance, and that will encourage them to do well.
Yeah.
Maybe, or the percentage stays the same. Like that's the thing, is like if you're in sales, you get, a 10% commission or whatever. Well, you just sell more, and then your
it goes
compensation
It goes
increase
up. Oh, that is true.
of your performance. So not necessarily a percentage-based increase. Like they could have caps. So if you sell, or if you sell $500,000, then you're at a 10%. If you get $1 million, then you're at 12%. And you can have benchmarks there, but I think it might not translate for everybody's position very well. It's much more cut and dry in a sales position where there's commissions. But I think in a processor, a more chemical mixer position, it might be, all right, you guys process however many units or whatever.
Not
I
so
don't know.
much or whatever. The only thing that I see like a con to that is that that's a lot of work. A lot of what if this, like if I sell more than $20 million of product or something like that, then it could be, I know some employees may feel like they're being restricted. Like, okay, well, I don't I'm only going to get 12% if I sell that much or something like that.
I think that's where you work on, you know, you can have uncapped potential. Like on a sales side, you know, you can earn as much as you want. It's just your performance. You have your base salary and then it just grows up to a certain percentage. You'll ultimately be capped on your percentage, but your earnings aren't capped. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
I guess am I explaining that? And then, like, I guess my only, it's so much easier to say that on a sales side where they're actually bringing things in. On a processing manufacturing side, it's hard to
Quantify that.
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I as a, you know, mechanic or whatever, sent through this many units. Okay, well, they could pay me 10 cents per unit or whatever, that type of performance. But you only have so many man hours, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a salesperson could sell an order of 100 units to one person and in the same amount of time sell an order of 100,000 units to another company.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And make so much more. So I'm against everything being equal in all things, but I guess just
Like,
I just don't know if the performance section and the salary would be a good option for everything across the board in the company.
mm-hmm. So like maybe, so having like a base salary, the percentage based on their performance and then the percentage based on their division's performance? Or just the percentage based on the division?
I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Can you have it both? Can you do both? Can you do performance and division for a certain percentage? So, meaning you perform good, you get a percentage, right? And then your division that you're in, because they excel too on maybe sales or whatever, then you get a percentage of that too.
But your division wouldn't have, like, if you were, because I guess where the hang up is if your department is a line worker or a chemical pourer, sales is not going to be in your division or your department.
Okay.
You're not going to have those figures in your.
Yeah, you're generally just like a set amount that you do a day.
Mm-hmm. So maybe what you could do is all of those, like people who are not
Mm-hmm.
are bringing in revenues, you have a base salary and then you get a performance bonus based on quality output. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So
not just that you produced 100 units, but that you produced 100 perfect units.
Right.
yeah,
And you would
so
get-
that's where your performance bonus comes in, is your lack of
Defects.
your lack of defects. Mm-hmm.
So basically, for the entire company, everyone's going to get a base salary, and then depending on which division they are in,
Some type
their
of
performance is going to have a
bonus.
bonus, like a percentage bonus. So whether you're making the product, it's about defects, or if you're selling the product, it's about how many you're selling. If you're in charge of finance, maybe like the perfect audits.
Yeah, don't mess up
Or
the.
you don't mess up the audits.
Yeah.
Or maybe because you are a high manager, or if you have motivated your team effectively.
Well, let me ask you this: why does it have to be the same across the board? Does it?
It doesn't have to.
Because think about it this way: in finance, what is a performance bonus in somebody crunching numbers? That Excel didn't screw it up,
That's fair.
you know? Like, do you,
That
so
should be
why?
expected already.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing the audit.
You know, I mean, I just kind of, does it have to be the same? I mean, obviously, when there's an opportunity to give a performance bonus, I say yes, let's do it, to help promote accurate work. And you know, I feel like if let's not try to find it. Does that make sense?
Oh, that does make sense. So we should give a bonus when it's necessary.
When it's applicable.
So like maybe this is why you make goals as a company each year. Like maybe this year we're going to focus on our marketing. So it's like then we'll bring out a raise or a percentage based on performance for our marketing team because that is our goal for the company this year or something like that.
I mean, and then every other area, I mean, a lot of companies, they have percentage increases, an annual percentage increase. Okay, you get a 3% raise just because you're here, or you know, an inflation increase. And I'm not saying it has to be that amount, but set up on a scale. If in your review, if they met these things, you know, they either reached raise 1, 2, or 3, or if they're particularly stellar, they got promoted, or you get special permission for a different raise. But I, you know, just have it set in stone, 1, 2%.
Yeah. Well, we're having some great ideas. So let me read what this says. See if you can get the group to agree on a pay approach. Do we all agree on this pay approach?
I'm good with it.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I think it's great.
Fine.
Final wrap up. Oh, okay. So just as a little side note for this case, I want to ask you guys what you learned the most about this case.
Don't get hired into a company like this. That's all I can think of. And what I learned from Whitney is just be straightforward. Don't have emotions at all. Just cut it all. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't be. I think Sid.
Terrible
I think from my character, I just learned don't be stubborn. Like work as a team to figure out what the best plan of action is, whether it's compensation or another area of focus within a company.
I thought it was interesting how the case talked about how Gilbert put together this plan, and then he asked for opinions and stuff like that. And so it's just, I heard R2D2.
I did too.
That wasn't for my house.
Anyway, sorry. So I think it's, I don't know, I don't like that approach. I kind of like getting ideas first and then constructing and then coming back to the team. Like, what do you think?
I think they did that.
They did do that?
I remember reading somewhere that the CEO talked about Gilbert, or talked to Gilbert and how he's gone to different portions of their company.
Oh, yes? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I swear I did read this case, guys. But that's what it came across to me, is that he just built it and then he's getting feedback. I feel like it's a great way to get feedback that you may not want. You know, it's like kind of hammering your idea. But if you get everyone's opinion, then it'd be good. Work as a team to get the solution, yeah. What else? What did you guys learn from this case?
There are a lot of different ways to do things. I think with some of this, maybe they should have done some homework behind it. Like earlier, you guys were talking about how maybe check the finances, see what would work best with finance. Like if I think it was Connor that said it. You have to give, what was it, like severance or something? Like if you let people go, kind of a thing. You know, so you need to like look into all of these different decisions that you're going to make. But yeah, so there's just a lot more than just making the decision, but there's also people's emotions that are going into this, and I think a lot of it that they could do, you know, they did get opinions beforehand, but maybe they could almost train people on what it would do to the finances and help people see that. And then come with the opinions where people are a little more educated on what decision they're actually making.
I like that. All right. Well, we've pretty much talked about everything that we needed to. Let's.
Oh, I have are we done talking about the case?
Yeah.
So we need to have 4 solutions for each idea when we write the papers.
Oh, we need 4?
4 solutions for each
Mhm.
idea. Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah,
killing
so
me.
well, so and what I kind of got from it was we don't need to talk about necessarily the 3 topics we learn about as we discuss. So